We're back with Quad City International Airport Executive Director Ben Leischner. You know, the challenge when you took the job was to try to expand the airlines that serve the airport, expand services. To what extent is your approach now more just one of trying to preserve operations rather than expansion?
Great question. It almost feels like a 180-degree turn where I was really optimistic last time I was on when I first came to the airport about expanding service and really ending the trend of a shrinking market. We were able to turn that around, and we saw growth during the first 2 years of me serving the airport. This last year, though, it obviously was just for the industry around. And right now, it's really about restoration of service. So of the 11 markets that we have served back in 2018, we lost 3 of those that we've been in constant communications with the airlines on when those services will be returned. The good news is all of our airline routes were profitable before COVID-19, and we are very optimistic that as soon as the community is ready to travel again, all 11 destinations will return full service to the Quad Cities.
So down to 8, but you are confident, of course. Time will tell when that will actually be able to happen. Now, we've talked in the past certainly about the airport's limited taxing authority. It's existed for years. Expanding that jurisdiction, I don't believe, has succeeded yet. Local governments, we know, have seen the revenues fall dramatically in the pandemic. Do their financial problems actually reduce what they're able to contribute to the airport? Do you know what that amounts to?
You know, it hasn't been much of an impact to the airport with the reduced tax base, and that's really just because, unlike a lot of other public agencies in the state, we have existing tax capacity that we're not touching today. We really do rely on user fees as an airport. So a lot of our revenue does come from the airlines. It also comes in the form of non-aeronautical revenue, like parking. Parking is the easiest way for us to offset having to tax our neighbors. We believe it's an easy way to pull in kind of a mentality of pay for what you use.
What about taxing the neighbors, though? Are you trying to expand it anyway, the tax base, to all of the Rock Island County townships that aren't contributing now? And why hasn't that been able to happen?
You know, I know that was a proposed bill that I don't think ever made it out of committee with the General Assembly, probably back in 2018, right before I came. I'm certainly in support of expanding the taxing authority through all of Rock Island County, but not in a basis to increase revenue streams, but more of a way to expand the denominator and spread out the small tax. Those who do pay taxes to the airport, they will note that it is by far the smallest line item on their tax bill. And that is because we do leverage non-aeronautical revenues such as concessions and rental car companies and parking to really pay the bills.
Let's go even farther with the neighbor analogy, because the significant passenger base comes from Iowa, we know, more than half. Yet Scott County doesn't contribute revenue to the airport. The Chamber of Commerce leadership thinks it should. Are you making any inroads there? Do you think that will happen, if ever?
You know, it's not something we've pursued. I will say we do have a strong relationship with the QC Chamber and Paul Rumler, as well as Visit Quad Cities and Dave Harrell. Great organizations that work hard to advocate for our community. We are such a unique community, being a bi-state region, and we're fortunate to serve passengers from both Iowa and Illinois. But the fact of the matter is the airport is in Illinois. We do get support from the state of Illinois. And IDOT. I personally, looking at the political side of things, it's really difficult, and I can't imagine a way where progress can truly be made to where it can include Iowa as well. And again, I think that's where a lot of our focus on user fees instead of taxes really comes from. That's a way that if it benefits members of the community, it's a way to have all members of the community contribute.
My conversation with the Airport Executive Director Ben Leischner. What goals he has for 2021 in a web extra on ourquadcities.com. Coming up, democracy put to the test, where the state of the republic stands after this week's attack on the Capitol. For the record.